Hi, all Agent here, and we are going to fly a Helipropter after the prop nerf. We're going to pick this match up about 10 seconds into it, and we are going to go capture a tower. First, I'm going to fly low over top of this thing and make sure no enemies are trying to come to this tower. Now and then you'll get a few guys or even a single guy that want to come over here and capture this tower while the rest of their team captures their own tower. I do the same thing, so I like to watch out for other players doing that. Every time I play this method, I never touch our tower first. I go straight to the contact. So what we're flying here is not a drone. It is a helicopter that is prop assisted to actually make it respond when you press the keys. As we all know, anybody who's trying to fly right now, copters are in a pretty bad spot as far as a purebred movement. Copters are very slow to react. They're not very strong, and if you do build them strong, you're not going to have a lot of firepower. So with the addition of props, we're finally able to make fairly decent copters again. They're completely different than the old copters I used to build. They're a lot smaller and have to be played differently. They're not really for brawling, they're more for peekaboo and hit and runs, but they actually work again if you put some props on. I've got two small props on the sides for a little bit of assistance and strafing, and I've got two large props in the front and back for forward and backward movement. So I notice first off that my team doesn't seem to be very coordinated or good at taking towers and capturing one, and then I go over and help them finish our other tower, and then I go ahead and engage aircraft in some air-to-air plasma combat. Now we've got a dangerous bot on the enemy team. Didn't know he was there till just now, obviously. He is a flak or even a dual flak copter with prop blades as well. Luckily for me, I can aim pretty well with plasma, and he likes to kind of stop and move slowly in the air. I don't know if this was one of those fast, agile builds before the prop nerf and he's still trying to use it without changing anything on it, or if he's still learning the ropes and how to fly and how to aim while moving and all that good stuff while you're in the air. But whatever the reasoning is, he likes to land a lot, probably to use the flak accurately, and he likes to slow down, which works out great for me because I've got pretty decent aim with plasma, so I'm able to hit him fairly often, and when I can, I've got a blink on this thing so I can get out of it. It's only 1208 CPU, so it doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of armor. Props, the large props are bugged right now. They're supposed to be fixed, but not coming tomorrow. So by the time you see this video, they're probably going to be fixed. And some of the bots that you thought you built really tough aren't going to be quite as tough as they were. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But right now, as it stands, I think a lot of the toughness of these propeller-based bots, especially with the propellers on the front and back, are due to the bug. So we're gonna fly low. We're gonna use this this crashed ship a lot to sneak around unseen. I don't have radar, so I have to make sure I gotta keep this guy spotted if I want to attack him. And I do want to attack him first at every opportunity. I want to kill this rail too, because the rail is gonna help protect him. I've at least crippled the rail for now, so I can go finish off my mortal enemy, the enemy flak, and then I can go ahead and finish the rail. Luckily, he is a very fragile rail, and all it takes is a half or a third of a volley of plasma, a third of my energy bars, so to destroy him or at least cripple him to where he can't shoot me while I'm engaging the other guy. There are a lot of aircraft in this match, and it doesn't really seem like my team, like I said, they're not very responsive. They're not, don't seem to be too good at attacking the air with their anti-air abilities. I know we've got at least one flak bot, and we've got a guy with a lock-on missile launcher that I see later, but I'm just not really seeing them attack these aircraft like they should. And it could just be because the ground bots are keeping them plenty busy, but I don't have time to evaluate exactly what they're doing wrong and try to figure it out. I just want to win this match. So I'm going to scoot back in the base. Props are still pretty good at escaping, possibly due to the bug, possibly due to just their high health pools. I am able to kill the enemy prop bot fairly easily once he's on the ground. but I'm not actually aiming for the prop. I'm aiming for the structure of his bot, the armor and stuff. Just trying to break the connection to the prop instead of actually breaking the prop itself. In a lot of cases, that's going to be your best bet with smaller builds and more fragile builds. I have no idea where this guy went either. He just completely disappeared unless he was destroyed and I didn't see it. But that's fine. He's out of the picture for now. Like I said, he's my mortal enemy in this match. Flak is extremely devastating if you do not react and get the heck out of there within 2 to 3 seconds. You can expect to be thoroughly wrecked and watching a respawn screen. So you really got to keep an eye out for Flak. And I, like I said, I use this crashed ship a lot. I fly low. Luckily, he kind of is trying to do the same thing, and I'm able to hit him with plasma. Not that time, I whiffed every shot, which is to be expected if you're trying to do air-to-air plasma. It's not the easiest thing to accomplish. But luckily for me, he's low, so I can get a vantage point right above him, move in, and put a good few plasma shots into him, heavily damage him. He's going to go try to heal. I'm going to move in and try to finish the job. I need to get rid of that flak cannon. I don't want that thing hitting me, even if I'm on the ground. And to accomplish that task, the laser hover right there, he's actually extremely good at anti-air. Not just him personally, but any well-built laser hover is going to be probably your second best and most versatile anti-air option. Flak, obviously, like I said, is incredibly devastating air, but it's not very versatile. It's best used against air. It's best used on the ground against air. Whereas if you have lasers on a good hover, you're tough. You have smaller weapons that are more difficult to shoot off. You're typically more maneuverable, and you're able to deal good damage to these aircraft, especially lower CPU aircraft. And most aircraft do tend to be lower CPU because you get a lot more energy when you're lower CPU. So as an aircraft, especially a plasma bomber, that's what you want. Is you want a huge, massive, devastating alpha strike like I've got going here with a 1208 CPU build. I've got, I believe, 14 rounds of plasma before I am out of energy, which is a heck of a lot of damage, especially when you start getting overclocked. So I don't want to hover and be still. I know there are enemy plasma bombers that don't want to be an easy target, so I'm just going to kind of pick and chip away at this tower as opposed to hovering right over it. And had I hovered right over it, Mr. Flak copter drone thing here, he's actually a helipropter just like me. He likely would have lit me up with that flak, and I would have had to have blinked out, or maybe I get stuck on the ground and I can't steer away quick enough. I believe he does have plasma to finish the job, so I got to be very diligent in making sure that he is not going to get me. I don't want to get caught off guard by this guy, just like I am now. He just caught me off guard, and see, just like that, blink of an eye, I've lost all my rotors. I can't fly anymore. I'm missing a gun, but luckily with the props, I can go ahead and scoot like a sled back to base. So I can heal up and go right back out there, and I'm going to look for him and try to engage him before I do anything else, because I need him gone. I don't see him, so right now my teammates are in trouble. We got 3 enemies over here by the tower, so I'm going to go in and help my allies. I don't want them dead, and I don't want to be like one of the only guys that the enemy has to focus on. I don't want to be outnumbered either, so I'm going to try to save my teammates. I do this in pretty much every match that I play, is I try to save my teammates even if they're going to be crippled at the end of the fight, because in 10 seconds they're going to auto-heal and not have to wait for that spawn countdown. The only exception to that is usually at the beginning of the match. I don't care, because they're going to spawn in less than 10 seconds anyway, and it's actually sometimes quicker to respawn than it is to wait on an auto-heal at the very beginning of a match. So here's this other plasma bomber. He managed to shoot off all my rotors. That is a weakness of this build, is that it does need its rotors to fly. I do have some thrusters on here, and with the props, I kind of can fly with a little bit of control as long as I've got most of my thrusters still, but it's not something that you can rely on to get you out of trouble. Usually you're just going to be like a sled, and you're going to be very susceptible to plasma damage, because you're going to be moving very predictably, usually in straight lines, and you're not going to have that erratic movement that used to make these prop-based bots strong.
Your plutonium reactor.
So again, we go over to help our ally. He's kind of hanging out in the corner with that flak, and if I were him, I don't use flak very often. I actually recycle every bit of flak cannons that I get. I don't use flak at all. I'd rather use rail if I'm going to do anti-air. But if I were a flak user, I would sit more towards the center of the map if I were to want to camp somewhere. That way I can have a wider angle of view and see more of what's going on and see more aircraft, because he's got this ship blocking his line of sight to anything that's reasonably far away. He's actually weak right now in that position because these aircraft can just pop right over lay a volley of plasma into him and then pop back over into cover. This map is actually very good for aircraft if you use this wreckage as cover. It's very effective. I have a little derpy moment there where I bump into something with these rotors sticking off. I do usually like to use 2 rotors. I don't always use 4, but I'm kind of testing out a new thing here using 4 rotors, and it seems to work pretty well. I've got a good level of control, and this is that laser hover doing his job well. As he shot all my rotors off, crippled me. I had to get around the corner and hide right here to heal, so he doesn't have me bothering him for 10 or 15 seconds. But I'm going to go ahead, heal up. He's already healed up too, and I'm going to re-engage. I'm going to try to use the cover a little bit better. I'm going to try to anticipate where he's going, and I spot him. That way I can track him even through cover. Doesn't seem like he has spotted me yet. That is a mistake a lot of enemies make, is they will shoot at you without spotting you, and then they can't track where you're going. So if you notice that they don't if you notice that they don't spot you and you don't get that red exclamation point and audible warning, then a lot of times you can sneak around and they're expecting you to come out of one place, but they can't see you, so you can sneak around and flank them or something. Again, I get taken by surprise by the flak bot. Luckily, he didn't get all of my rotors. I shot at the laser hover, which may or may not have been a good idea, but I didn't want him auto-healing, so I just wanted to hit him once or twice and reset that countdown. That way, he doesn't get to auto-heal as I auto-heal, and I retain the advantage. Unfortunately, the flak bot is still very interested in my existence over here, and if I were him, I would be too, having been shot down by a plasma bot, something that you came with a loadout specifically to kill. I would be pretty salty, and I would be out for blood at this point. A lot of times when I play rail, I like to play other bots like this, but I'll get a team that isn't very good at anti-air. I'm playing some kind of plasma bomber. The enemy team has lots of air. They also have anti-air, and there's really not a whole lot I can do, even being able to hit aircraft with plasma a lot. And I pretty much rage rail for the rest of the night at that point. I just play rails, and I shoot air with a vengeance. I'm out for blood because I just got stomped, and that's how that usually works. So typically rail videos you see, I lost a match or something, and now I am rage railing. So the enemy team surrendered. I guess they felt like they couldn't win, which I guess that's fine with me. We got a victory, and we kind of carried the team in damage there. We're way up at the top and definitely got top scores. So hope you enjoyed the video and the plasma dogfighting. See you next.